In this lecture, we're going to learn how to configure the manifest file. The plugin we installed will provide us with default values. Every value is completely overridable. Most likely, you will want to change the values to better describe the application you're building. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to the documentation page for the PWA plugin we installed. This page goes over how we can configure the manifest file that gets generated by the plugin. It's as simple as modifying the vite configuration file. Let's continue extending the configuration to include additional settings. In your editor, open the vite.config.js file. Through this configuration file, we can configure the PWA settings. This includes the settings for the manifest file. Inside the vite PWA object, add an object called manifest. There aren't many settings we'll want to configure. On this object, we're going to change the name, theme color, and icons. That's it. The name of the app can be configured by adding the name property. We'll set it to the following: Music App. We can assign a color to our application. It helps the browser understand the main color of our UI elements. The theme color of the app can be changed by adding the theme color property. We'll set it to the following: #FF5E3A. The last property is called icons. The icons property is an array of objects where each object represents an icon. Most platforms support various sizes. We're not going to review every site. At a minimum, browsers require at least one icon. For this course, I've provided an icon for registering our app as a progressive web app. In this array, add an object with a property called source. The value for this property must be a path to the file. Let's set it to the following: assets/image/pwa192x192.png. Next, we must add the dimensions for the size. Add sizes property with the following value: 192x192. Lastly, we must add the MIME type. Set the type property to image/png. These properties must be added to each icon. The PWA plugin will be able to correctly add these settings to the correct properties in the manifest file. We're finished with configuring the plugin. The next time we build the project, the manifest file will use the name and colors we added in the configuration file. I recommend checking out the documentation to learn more about the properties we can add. It'll tell you what default values it'll use when we don't provide one. It's time to check the manifest file with the developer tools. In the browser, refresh the page. Navigate to the application panel. Most of the errors have gone away. If we're able to clear these errors, our app is installable. That wraps it up for this lecture. We'll continue in the next one.